All right. Here we are. Here we are. Just waiting. Hey guys, what's happening? What's happening? Sunday night after, a long day with my kids, and here we are, let's talk about guitar solos. I think it's a good thing. And let me see here the comments, and say hi to Rodrigo, Akansa, Sir JP, Aman, Mike T. Great. All right, guys, thanks a lot. And here we go. Let me just see if everything is working. Let's do a quick sound check here. All right, so what's up? Well, this live streaming will be here on YouTube. You can watch later. So first of all, I'm reading the comments here. I have the camera there. It's kind of pretty confusing sometimes. But first of all, I want to know what makes a solo a great solo? What makes a great solo? Let me know. I want to know. I want to start there because we might have different opinion about things, and I want in this live streaming here, just give some starting points, some things for you to consider. There is no one rule to create a solo, of course. It's all about your experiences, your knowledge, and your creativity. Depends on the style and depends so many things. But we will talk about those things that you have to consider, and I believe some basic stuff that you should have in mind every time you improvise and when you create a solo. Cool. So let's see here. The melody, a good melody. All right, tell me more. Okay, it's all about the melody, Oh, yeah. All right, so let's see. Everyone is saying melody, a good melody up, down, outlining the harmony. That's good. Good harmony now. Melody for sure. Sonic uniqueness. Melodic solos with some shred on it. Nixo slash. What else? Has to be excited. Has to be exciting. I lost. Anyway, melody is everything. Melody and phrasing. Okay, it seems like 99% is emotion now. Tells a story, context, dynamics. Good. Phrasing. All right, so you guys know everything, like emotion, telling a story, context, dynamics, phrasing, melodies, killer licks with melody, always. Whatever with melody, what is, and now we need to discover what is a great melody, fits the song. That's another great point. It has to fit the song, right? Craziness. Emotion again, context, and timing. All right, Morlo. No. Timing, he said. All right, so timing, of course. Good intonation. You do like a great solo with a bad intonation. It's not gonna work, of course. Being part of the song, you guys are completely right, and then the feeling, the motifs. Yeah, so great. All right, guys, so, please like this live streaming here and share with your friends. And, let's talk about those things. I was I chose one solo from open source just to comment a bit. And because every solo has a different story, So I chose one solo, but of course we can talk about all the solos. I'm not great on knowing, solos from other guitar players. So, anyways, but there's some things to consider all the time. I'm still reading what you guys talking about here. I just want to double check the, do a quick sound check here if it's okay. Guitar and the backing tracks here just to see if everything's working. Is it good? Let me know. Have to wait a few seconds here just to know if it sounds good. In the meantime, I will read your comments a bit. All right. Oh, some Portugal, Denmark. I read Hungary, America, Brazil. A lot of Indonesia. So guys, I'm doing this live stream. I did last Sunday and today, probably next Sunday. But on March 7th, I will do a sequence of live streaming and like an event. I will give some material, some more structure live. That's why I'm doing those lives here, to get more information from you guys, to understand what you guys need. And also you can always share with me here what you guys need, what you guys want to know. So I will do a week, an event like throughout the week from the 7th to 14th, right? March 7th to 14th. And the link is here down on the description. You can enroll, so I can tell you exactly all the information, and also send you the PDFs and all those kind of things. So subscribe, save the date, save your spot, and I will do some open streaming like this, and some to the people that subscribed. So to that enrolled and saved your spot. So the link's there on the description, and I try to put here on the chat at some point as well. All right, so we have people from France. So let me know. I don't know. So I didn't get, sounds good or not? I didn't get the answer here. Like, I got all the countries here: Hungary, India, Serbia, India, Scotland, Chile, and Poland, Finland, Brazil, Poland, Argentina, Canada, Ireland, Mexico, everywhere, Sweden, Japan. It was pretty late there, huh? Germany. Morlo is from Germany. Norway, Poland. All right, so I didn't get the answer if if it sound okay. Sounds good. Okay, great. All right, okay, few things about the solos, right? Or at least the way I think. So somebody, some people said like fits to the song. So first thing is like, okay, let's say you have is it like instrumental song and then it's a solo there, but it's already a lot of guitars before that. So like my solo albums or like that. So open source. So actually I don't have a lot of solos on my solo album, because I think there's a lot of guitars, anyways, doing the melodies. And so not every song has like a improvised solo, or maybe a short solo. But if it's a song, if you have vocals on the song, then, I believe that first of all, you should listen to the song and see the spot you have. Maybe it's a short solo, maybe it's a 16 bars, 32 bars, like maybe it's 20 seconds, 30 seconds solo, maybe it's a longer solo, maybe you have a solo at the end of the song, maybe you have a little intro to create a theme or a solo. Megadeth has a lot of solo, a lot of songs that has solos in between the verses as well. Megadeth has some interesting structure that sometimes you find some solos or some licks in between the verses, which is pretty cool. So I have to analyze all those things first and see like, okay, and kind of imagine what I believe is like imagining the atmosphere and the vibe and the energy you want to give to that solo. And this is before you grab your guitar. You just listen, and so like, try to imagine a solo, like not the notes. I mean, if you can, the notes, but the energy you want. What are you imagining to that solo? It's like it's gonna be more aggressive, full of notes, higher pitch, or more mellow, more bluesy, and then you start going to those. I would be like secondary thoughts. Is it more triadic? Using triads or chord tones, the notes of the chords, or pentatonic, right? The triads like 3 notes, the pentatonics 5 notes, so adding more notes. When you talk about pentatonics, you might think like pure pentatonics or more bluesy. Could be more bluesy. We play guitar, so we can always add those bluesy licks and stuff like that. So then you have the scales, the diatonic scales, the modes, and then the chromatics, right? So, triads, chord tones, triads, and seventh arpeggios, would be like 4, triads, 3 notes, 4 notes, seventh arpeggios, the pentatonic, then the bluesy pentatonic, then the modes, and then chromatic passages, right? So how do you feel about this solo, that 32 bars? What do you imagine? And then the pace of the solo, right? So like how many notes? Is it like a song that has a lot of energy? That happens a lot in Megadeth. Like the song has a lot of energy, so when you start a solo, you might want to keep that energy, and then you keep like playing fast or with aggressive bends and notes because you want to keep that energy, or maybe you just want to bring the song down and build the energy back. So this you can imagine before playing, or when you improvise, you just start experimenting those things. Keeping the energy, bringing the energy down, and then create a build up to deliver back to the singing. So you don't need to play, or you can just improvise, but you can imagine first, because imagining, you have no limitations. You don't have limitations of your technique. You don't have limitations of your knowledge. Your assets. Things that scales that or or you don't know, right? So, you can listen to all the solos sometimes to get inspired, depending on your level. You might listen to solos and analyze what they do. Great guitar solos, great guitarists, what they did in the past, and then like, okay, that's a cool build up. That's a cool contour for that solo, right? And that's the beginning of the thing. I would say, Let me read what you guys are talking about. Da-da-da. Oh yeah. So then, okay, let me get the comments here. So also what the song needs, as I said, it's like a lot of energy. Maybe it's like it's a ballad. So if it's a ballad, maybe your solo is the time that is gonna bring some energy, some like what if to the song, like it's all cool and it's a ballad, and then comes the solo. It's like this epic moment for the guitar solo, the what if, so like a counterpoint to the rest of the song. So this you can imagine, even if you compose, you can imagine like if you're playing in a band, but if you're composing the song, you can also create the song imagining like, okay, the solo is going to be an epic solo to create contrast to the rest of to the ballad, right? Or it's a fast song and I want the solo just to continue, the energy. So when you're composing the song and you're deciding about the solo, you can already, you know, figure out those things, right? Okay, that would be the first thing. Also, if you have an album, that's like more, you know, maybe advanced situation. But anyways, if you have an album, so you're doing like, you're recording 10 songs, you might think about the other solos, you know. You want to have different solos, you want to have different vibes throughout the album, you know. Otherwise, let's say if you play a fast solo in a song and then the other songs again, the fast solo. So it's good to you know, to kind of see the big picture of the album, and you know, listen to the solos and imagine that solo that you're creating at that moment compared to the other songs, you know, to the other solos from the other songs of the album. But of course, this is like for the ones here that one day or we'll have the chance to record a full album, right? All right, so after this imagining and listening and seeing the shape of the solo, you can also always start thinking like how to start and how to end. So you go to the extremes, right? So you can think about the note you're going to start, mainly if you're going to improvise. And this works live as well. If you're like in a jam situation and you're going to improvise, like just before it's your turn to improvise, you can think like how I will start this solo, how I will start this improvisation. If you can, which note, you know, and then you can think like, should I start like slowly? Should I start with triads and then I go to the scales and then you see what happens? But at least you think about the start, the note you start, and what kind of vibe you start the solo. That's very important in a jamming situation because, you know, you just think a bit and then you let the creativity, the emotion to carry on the rest. But the beginning is very important. When you're recording a solo on an album, you know, and then you have more time, right, to think or to experiment and try different intros, different ideas. That's what I do on my albums or the new Megadeth album. You know, try different vibes and see, you know, you have the time, you know, because a solo is a short solo. So if you try for 1 hour, 2 hours, you probably will try like 10 different styles, you know. So that's important, how to start and how to end, right? So that's why another reason that some solos is they're better to record after the vocals, you know, because then you see how how you give back to the singer, you know, the solo. And if you don't know what's the melody, you know, if you don't have any idea how the transition will be, then it's a bit harder to decide about the end or the intro. But anyways, right? And yeah, so you know, there's like some, and then it's not difficult actually, you know, if you think about like Conquer or Die, the solo from Conquer or Die, you have this thing, right? Right? That's the you know, the rhythm guitar playing like E, F sharp, F, right? Basically, that's the riff. And then because you have, I mean, it starts like this, right? So those chords, right? Those chords. So I started the solo during those chords, creating a counterpoint. So the chords are going down, right? The solos are going, the chords are going down, as you could see. So I, you know, just create movement. I went up, right? So I'm basically playing the same chord tones, right? And or I'm just playing the scale actually, right? And then I start the solo on the highest note of the guitar, which is normally you end the solo on the highest note, on the guitar, kind of. But I thought was a feeling, I'm trying to analyze now, but it was like to play with energy. You can play using high notes. You can play fast, so to give energy, and also the way you play, right? So I thought like starting with a high note would give a lot of energy, like starting epic, and but the thing is, it's pretty simple because the chords are E, and I play the note E. And then the next chord is F sharp, and then I play the note F sharp, and then the next chord is F, and I play the note F, and then back to E, and I play the E here. So, I mean, come on, it's like, you cannot play simpler than that, it's almost like stupid, just playing the tonic, the root of each chord. But it works because when you're starting a solo, you don't want to come with like a lot of information. So that was a way to start slowly, So it's basically, so that's what I'm doing, but I'm playing like this. So that's the beginning of the solo. And this is very important because you already kind of lay out, what's going to happen. And now it's easier to start doing So then it's easier to keep improvising because you started, epic, let's say, with a lot of energy. But it's super simple. Right? Any comments? Any comments? Let me see here. All right. Bonjour, mon ami. All right, so, okay, harmonizing, I will talk later about this, if you have the time. The opening statement of the solo, yeah. All right, so, any questions, let me know. So again, I was not thinking about scales and things like this. I was just like, okay, those are the notes of the chords. Let's start like this. And so when a harmony is simple, you can think about the key. But if you practice, it's better to think per chord. So when the chord changes, you follow the chord changes, right? So with the chord tones, sometimes you just use the overall scale of the key of the song, right? So I will get this solo here from Vital Signs, a song from open source. Let me find the song here. So this solo here, and I will talk about this solo. I mean, it was completely improvised, but it's after it's easier to analyze. So. classic ending on the high note. All right, so very hard to play this solo actually, and I was spending the Sunday without guitar hand, so let's see what I can do. But all right, so you have the harmony is like C major, D, right, and then so then E minor. All right, so, but then I have to show a bit the context of the song, because the song starts with this, like this, look. Maybe from the beginning. Have those. So, all right, so that's the theme of the song. And then in the beginning I played. All right, so that's the beginning of the song, and then comes the verse. Right? So it's kind of a mid-tempo song, kind of I play like a kind of groovy, and during the phrases here, so I'm always kind of playing the ghost notes in between, so that's the vibe, right? So during the solo, when it comes down again, after all the parts, and I don't know, I have this riff here. And then of course, I try to bring back the beginning, because it kind of makes, it tells a better story. It's kind of using the beginning as, just repeating parts. It's always great, to tell the story, and then after so many parts of the song, it's kind of good to go back to repeat, so the listener feels okay. I'm still in the same song, So I brought this back. Now this. Right. So this is gonna be. So my solo is going to be kind of around this thing, right? Somehow, yeah. So when the solo starts, I play scales, Again, I was not thinking, I was just playing, but, anyway, so let's try to dissect the solo. So I started on the third. I started low. So instead of starting like the Megadeth song, Conquer or Die, starting on the high note, because there was a lot of energy. Now the energy is down, so I will start on a lower note, right? It's like, the way I play is more delicate, so, the dynamics, and I started here, right? Just this phrase, just as a scale. Just the scale. It's the way you play that matters. right? And then I play this phrase here, which is the phrase of the verse. You know, I'm just using the elements that already happened on the song, you know? So just to remind you, I have the verse was. So I got this phrase and put inside the solo in kind of in a different way. So the solo is like, you know. So I show you here. Let me find the solo. You see, it's the same phrase of the verse, but in a different way, in just tiny, just like using the motif. You know, I could play something like, you know, use the motif. You know, you can steal this and, you know, using your solos, because the trick is, you know, get the motif, the idea, and just use in different places. Cool? Let me see what you guys are saying here. All right. So then so now I can, if it would be a longer solo, like a jam that I would be soloing for 2 minutes, probably I would stay here for a longer time. But you know, it's a short, kind of a short song. I don't know, like maybe 4 minutes. So the solo has to move on, you know. So now I start going up. So I bring more energy to the solo. So like, so now I'm going to this region here. I was here, lower, and now I'm going here to the guitar solo, right? So higher, you know. I'll show you. And now, because again, I was using this, you know, kind of ghost notes during the song. So now during the solo, I will use this ghost note kind of thing, vibe, you know. You know, because the song started. So now during the solo I use. Right? Right? Yeah, and then I'm kind of getting that vibe of this groove, you know. Now I go back to the same note that I played. You know, I just played that note, the F sharp. with a band. Now I'm playing the same note, but now with those ghost notes. Right? But now I'm still going up because I need to keep the energy, you know, I want to build to the climax at the end. So now I'm using where to play, you know, I'm going higher and higher and higher and higher somehow, you know. So it's just the scale. It's just like E minor scale, you know. I mean, it's the C Lydian actually, but you know. F sharp. Right, so I'm going high, but then I cannot go higher because if I go higher, it's kind of the end of the solo, but it's not yet the end of the solo. So I kind of pull back and go back. Right? So I go back because it's not yet there. It's almost there, but not yet there. So I go back, and now I have to build again the climax. And I was already here. So now the other way to build climax is to play fast, you know. So that's what happens now. I just play fast and then I go up again, but now playing faster, and then I end the solo. Actually, it's not quite the end of the part with the, you know, the cliche of ending a solo here. All right? And you have to make the faces. All right? Now the part the fast. Okay, now the end of that part, the C major, D major. It's hard to, I don't remember the notes, so it's better to play using the backing track with no solo. Right. Best part. All right, so, but then, so you have the fast run, right? Just scale. The final note, it's kind of the solo is done, but then I decided to, you know, the song structure would be the riff would come back. Then I decided to keep soloing on top of that, E minor because it was, just felt good. So then, because it's kind of groovy and E minor, then I decided to go bluesy, and that's it just felt like, okay, pentatonic time, and basic pentatonic phrases like going bluesy, because the part before was really into the the C leadian scales, like using the diatonic scales, using C leadian. So now it's kind of like a relief to just play using the pentatonics, bluesy blues phrasing. And then I have this part, where it's like those four triads, and then it could be that I could play like a fast run, like a whatever arpeggios, like whatever, just play arpeggios. But yeah, I didn't want to keep doing this like shred kind of arpeggio stuff, going crazy, a lot of notes. I prefer to play single notes, and now I'm playing just the notes of the chords, like, because I know more is more, and we should follow the the rule of the master, Ingrid Malmsteen, more is more. But sometimes, less is more. Sometimes, 1% of the times. So in this case here, less is more, was more during the recording. So it's more about less notes and more energy, So it's like, okay, because I play the fast run, and now it's about the energy, but it's about the energy because if you play less notes, the energy has to be high, because you're already like in this climax thing. And I believe that sometimes like less notes give better results than a lot of notes. Like a plain notes is, a lot of plain notes sometimes give a good vibe because it's fast and people like, and guitar players like, right? But sometimes you will have more energy to play fewer notes, but with more energy, and then you give space. That's what I believe. And if you listen to great solos in history, you will see that. So right here you have, at the very end. So here, right? So those bends that you like, you feel like, okay, I broke a string, But if you use the Dario strings, you're fine. Doing like the bend with the first index finger, right? So. And then you have a lot of energy, and then, the solo is there, Then it's the end of the solo, and then it comes back. Then it's the melody again, the verse, the verse. Yeah. So let me know. Let me read what you guys are saying here, so... let me know if this is helpful for you guys, and so I'm just describing a solo. Of course, if I take another solo, the story will be different, but those elements are important, like if you play fast, gives energy, fewer notes, but with a lot of energy. I know it's kind of it's already kind of old school, I would say, like newer guitar players, they don't use a lot of vibratos and bends. I know it's like a new approach, kind of more like Alan Holdsworth approach, not like no bends and no vibratos, more like taking the guitar as a, I don't know, as a synth or like a violin kind of thing. But I like the vibratos, the energy, the bends. So like, or you play fast or you play with a lot of bends and vibratos. And then like, if you go to the lower register, if you go to the higher notes, those things kind of helps you to, and this is before knowing which note you're going to play, but just those things helps you to design, to shape the energy of the solo, And then if you have this in mind, then after a while, it's a natural way. This is the way we communicate, So I think it's natural. If you start playing, it's going to happen. All right, so. Okay, Dave Davidson said he doesn't know if this is useful, but insane indeed. So like, okay, I hope it is, Let me read some stuff. New guitars, it's hard to follow everything, but all right. Really cool seeing the breakdown. Hey, Casey, how are you? And the simplification of the process. But I just want to repeat again, I don't think like this before doing the solo, It's a natural thing. And then, of course, after the solo is recorded, it's like you listen, it's like, oh, that's what happened, But some stuff like how you're going to start and then how you're going to end is important, So I probably played over this backing track before recording the solo a few times or many times. I don't know. This solo, that's an interesting story. This solo is the demo solo. Because I did a demo, and then I improvised the solo, and then I couldn't get the same vibe, then I reamped the solo. So that's the solo from the demo. At least, yeah, I think the whole solo actually, but I don't remember actually. But I think the whole solo, like this part that I'm showing, is from the demo, which I just reamped. Because I couldn't get the same vibe, then I said like, well, better keeping the vibe than the perfection of the notes, All right, so very nice. Diego Formaggio, yeah. Jeff Beck would be proud of your teaching. Oh, yeah, man. That's one of my biggest heroes, Jeff Beck. So Luciano, like low energy, last notes, playing gently, high energy, many notes, playing fast, or playing with energy. I mean, you get the way you play the vibratos, if you just play like, there's a vibe there if you play, but if you play different energy, you're saying the same thing with different energy. Like you're not saying like, I'm saying the same thing. You're saying the same thing with different energy. So that's the idea when you play with vibratos and bends, and like the word bend is amazing because you're kind of bending the whole thing, the song kind of. So giving this band feeling, like, and yeah, so, but playing fast also gives the energy, of course. But if you play fast the whole time, then you lose, the listener will lose interest. Unless the listener is a guitar player, then it's going to be, wow, this is so awesome, But, song-wise, thinking about the song, and in the end, the guitar players, they love also, great solos with great melodies and with great energy and with those dynamics, So yeah, some songs, if it's a fast song, if you short solo, and if you just want to rip and play a lot of notes, that's cool as well. I did this so many times. Some I regret, but some I think is cool anyways. All right, so let me see here. All right. Uh, what can we practice for better solos for beginners? Scales the way to go. I mean, for the beginners, I would say I should do like a live like this, like for beginners, or I don't know if you're like beginners. If you're a beginner, like learning the first chords, or if you're a beginner starting to try to play solos. Then it's a bit different, because you know the chords already, and the problem sometimes is like you learn the first pentatonic shape, and then you stay there forever. Your entire life as a guitar player, you stay there forever, and then you're always afraid of trying different things. That happens a lot. And you don't want to be there, right? You don't want to be playing always the same thing, or not feeling confident that you have to stay in the first box, this pentatonic box. Basically, we can talk about this, but later. So you could, as a beginner, just learn one shape like the E minor. And just play. And at first you probably will just play up and down. Then you just start, trying to combine the notes. And the beginner probably will not have the perfect bends and vibrato. So maybe just playing just up and down and try to get the feeling, and trying to do some combinations. Like so like now. That's not a beginner, but stuff like this. Some stuff is a bit harder, but you can just play at first and enjoy music, because the main thing here is to enjoy. Play simple things. Don't worry about playing all across the neck at first. Try to create like simple melodies. Just play the shape, the first shape, put them back in track. Just keep playing and enjoy. Just enjoy what you're doing. It's already, if you can play just, and then feel hear the melodies and create some little things. It's already a great thing, for your brain, for your musicality, and it's fun. And then, if it's fun, you will come back the next day. It's like, all right. So you get excited, and then you come back the next day, the next month and years, and then you'll be able to play, anything, And so it starts there, But of course, you can go up and down, and remember about the pauses. That's another thing that's very important that happened in this solo. Some pauses, like pause, pause, pause. Pause. Because when we talk, we wait. We cannot just like talk like crazy. So it's the same thing. So even for the beginners, just play like the scale, the pentatonic, that first shape, up and down, and stop here and there, right? Right, like. see, pause is very important. Good stuff. I'm just like showing some small things that you can do. Like if you're a beginner, if everything that I said here sounds like too much, just one pentatonic, backing track, pauses, and try to create small fragments of melodies. Another thing that is very important, but before that, I will read the comments a bit. All right, so let me read the super chat here. Just a second. I need to find here. Got lost. All right, the modes, is another conversation because this is like another thing. So please go to the description. There's a link there, and I will talk about those things because I will do a sequence of lessons and with some material and stuff like that on March 7th, from March 7th to March 14th. So more intense, an event. And I want you to feel like you're a shredder and you can play fast, and you have at least the things that you need to know to play, to have a good technique, to be like whatever people call the shredders. I'm not a big fan of the word, but all good. But also being creative, being musical, playing melodically. So I want to combine those two things, like being creative and being a shredder, and I would even put like being a composer, right? So represented by the word being creative, right? So creating solos, creating songs, creating melodies, and then whenever you want, you can play fast, you can play with confidence because you have a good technique, you have good control. And some stuff that I'm playing here that they're not fast, they're not so easy to play. And I just described that I was not able to reproduce the solo from the demo, and then I had to use the demo solo because sometimes the way you play is so hard to reproduce. And technique is not only about playing fast, but it's about having control, like thinking about something and being able to transpose that idea, that thought, into music, transpose that and make music with that thought, with that idea, bring to the fingers, So that's hard. That's technique, that's technique. And of course, if you practice technique, you play fast, but it's more about you play clean, you play fast, you have better tone as well, because when you have control and you practice the right way, choose the guitar pick, the right way to make the legatos, you play cleaner and you have a better tone. So all this, they're combined somehow. So when you talk about technique, it's not only about playing fast, right? So yeah, so just go there, click the link, save the date, save your spot, and here we go. All right, so Higalo, thanks for doing these lessons for free. Thanks, man. And all right, I'm using NeuroDSP plugin. This one is the Gojira. I'm using the Gojira plugin. Yeah. NeuroDSP. Oh yes. All right, so one last thing here that's super important as well, like is like repetition. So I think if you follow the way I described the solo, I was repeating some motifs, I was repeating some ideas, some things that happened during the song, but also even mainly for beginners to understand that it's not only, you shouldn't be playing up and down the first scale learn, but also like get a tiny fragment of the scale and keep repeating, because that's the way we communicate to each other. When I say something here, I repeat, and it's like it's a common way to communicate when you say no, 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 I don't want this, no, no, no. Like you repeat stuff, to make to have your message delivered, right? So repetitions is a key factor as well. So anything you play, like, so if you do a phrase like this, it's good that you repeat. That's kind of a rule of playing 3 times that I like to say. You can play 3 times, and then the 3rd time with a little tweak, something a little bit different. Unless you do something like a loop kind of phrase, that's good too. The blues players, they do that a lot. But in general, if you do like, oh, sorry. So I play like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 times, but the last time was a different note. Then I repeat it with the last note different, right? 1, 2, 3 with a different note. 1, 2, 3 with a different note. 1, 2, 3. Now it's a 3rd group, and now I do something else. So that's the way you create melodies. It's not a big deal, I don't know, whatever, Or simple things like waiting for the part. Right. Repeat. A bit different. Again. Repeat. 3rd time. You see? 3 times the phrase, and then you go, So it's good because, like, the listener kind of, I got it, Because the first time, if you do a lot of stuff, it's very hard. It's like somebody just talking with no pause and nonsense, So if you repeat, it's just like giving emphasis to a few phrases or words, and with the pauses just before deliver the final message. That happens in the solo when I do the fast run. So I pull back, I play like half speed, and then I do the final note, Stuff like this, right? So fast run, half speed, and then the final note with a lot of energy. Cool? All right. Reading a bit here. Let me see. Let me see. No. I hear jumped truths in stream and concludes conscious. Change every 4 bar the riff of the idea. If you want to change all the time, people will call you prog. you know. But it is also a thing to do, you know. If you want to keep changing, is you create an environment, a song that is like more chaotic, you know. So it's good too, you know. But if and in general, you know, to communicate to make it clear, so repetition is always a key factor. And then if you don't want to use repetition, you know, it's going to be more chaotic, and which is good as well, you know. It's like is a thing too you can use, is an element, like a moment of chaos in the song, so that's good as well. All right, all right, my friends. All right, this is a gem for me. Thanks for taking the time to help us. All right, so I'm just reading more stuff here. Okay, so let me know before we end this. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about here. Just I want to read here, like things that you want to learn, or things that you want to know about songs in general, songwriting, solos, techniques, about life, music business. I don't know, but just let me know. As I'm preparing the things for March 7th, so it's very important for me that you tell me what you guys want, because you know it helps me to prepare the material for the event on March 7th. Description, in the description you'll find the link to save your spot, right? Yeah, just keep sending it, like how to make something melodic. I was just saying that's a lot of stuff that I just said is the what people say, oh, it's melodic, you know, but I can go deeper into that. But like repetition, pauses, and many, you know, other things that I said here throughout this hour is ways to make it things melodic, you know. Advice on building up speed. Just let me know. Just keep writing, because then I can check this out later as well. Forever, my God. All right. The deep talk about my rig. Yeah, I did a video on my channel. You have a video from the live, from the tour from last year, the live rig. You know, the quad cortex, the guitars. Have a video only about the guitars. There's a video about the quad cortex. So it's, you know, but I can show here the plugins. You know, the previous. I don't know, the previous live I did last week, I was not Gojira. This time I'm using the Neuro DSP Gojira. Last time I think it was the Noli Neuro DSP. Always Neuro DSP. But yeah, I can talk about guitars and picks. I did a video about my guitar pick as well. So there's a lot of stuff on my channel. You can check it out. But yeah, I'll take note to talk about equipment. What's the most important advice for someone starting out with improvisation? Some stuff that I said here, you know, but in general, well, it's a long process, you know. It's more like getting the flow and feeling the freedom of trying your ideas. It's not only about like how, like all the scales, you know, because you can get one shape of the pentatonic. You can get like few notes and improvise, combining those notes, playing in different ways with legatos or dynamics and things like that. So it's not that you need to know a lot of harmony and a lot of scales to be able to improvise. Improvisation is the act of creating at the moment, right? So it's not the act of creating something complicated, using a lot of stuff. So I think it's like finding this flow of feeling free to explore your ideas. But of course, that I should do like an hour about this, about like improvisation and some things to unlock this feeling, because it's not only about like learning the scales. Of course, the more scales you know, the more you know about harmony, it will be super helpful. The more freedom you have across the neck to find the notes, the intervals. Of course, you create like more interesting phrases and things like that. But it might be that you know a lot of scales and you're not able to improvise because you have this block. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff to talk about, But just try to find this flow. That's what I just did. Like play a pentatonic and simple things. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy the moment of playing, All right. How to create a good background, like, hey Alan Woodward, how are you? Thanks for the lesson. Yeah, man. Thanks a lot, man. Um, yeah, we're talking about coffee, but it's pretty late now. Thanks, man. Um, how to create a good background for the solo? That's another thing, right? And yeah, interesting harmonies. I think like when you listen to a song that has a like interesting chord progression, you should learn that when you listen to something that you like, you should take note. Like when you really like, because of course you might like a band, then you have like 100 songs of that band, but I'm sure that if you like a band a lot, and then I'm sure that you have the songs that you like the most, or moments from some songs that you like a lot, and then go there and check what's happening, like the chord progressions, You might be that you like the solo not only because of the solo, but because of the harmony, the chord progression. So then it's good to learn the chord progression and try yourself to do a solo, right? So making art is about finding what you think is beautiful and, playing what you think is beautiful, for you, So then you find your unique way of playing. All right. Good stuff, guys. So again, I just want to, again, like if you can put more stuff here, I really appreciate. Then you like what do you want to know, what do you want to learn, and also I asked that last week, like what do you think is like what a great guitar player, like what a elite guitar player needs to practice, needs to be. What is an elite guitar player, like a high performance guitar player? Just let me know here. Just let me know, and because this will help me to prepare the stuff for March, All right. Intense, the chat. All right, guys. So let me know what is an elite guitar player and what you want to learn on the next streaming. And I can talk about the modes, harmony. The modes is not a 5 minute thing, The modes is like a, complex thing, It's simple, but, to explain, you need time. Good ear. How to memorize all the songs for a concert. Yeah. Tension resolution. All right. All right, a lot of stuff here. It's hard to follow, and to find the comments that matters. It's always good to talk about the modes, yeah, for sure. So today, the solo that I was demonstrating was a C Lydian, right? Every time you have two triads, you know, major, major, so C major and then D major, then it's a C Lydian, you know. If you have G major, A major is a G Lydian. If you have E major, F sharp major is a E Lydian, right? A major and B major, A Lydian. So major, major always have this Lydian sound, right? C, D. If the C is the main, you know, is the main chord, you know, the center. If it's the D, if it's like start on D and then go C, then it's the mixolydian, you know. But I think it might be confusing if I just say like this, you know. So I'm always afraid to say stuff that makes you guys more confused than to make you guys like understand the modes and things in music, you know. My idea here is to make you guys like just play and have fun and then discover slowly everything. So again, if you're a beginner, just play the E minor pentatonic over a backing track, try to enjoy. So the main goal here is like to feel the need to come back the next day. That's the main goal. It's not like I want to learn everything. You will learn everything, but the main goal is like next day, next day, next day. It's to be excited about learning every day little things, you know, and to unlock the fear of trying to experimenting things. And then slowly you'll be able to learn the modes, the pentatonics, the triads, you know, play giant steps, to play, you know, anything you want, you know, play another instrument and play on stage with no fear, playing any keys and things like that. Cool? All right. Yeah, the Lydian is a beautiful. The Lydian sounds so amazing because I did a video on my channel about the circle fifths. Basically, the Lydian is when you play the fifth, the circle fifths. When you play a fifth, like the root, then the fifth of the fifth, then you keep going, and you play the 7 notes. That's the Lydian. So it's obeying like the harmonic series, the overtones. You're obeying what happens in nature, right? You play like. So 7 notes, Lydian. So if you just obey playing the fifths like this, playing 7 notes, you have the Lydian. That's why the Lydian is so open and so like inspiring to improvise, like I just did. Cool. All right, guys. If I go into the modes, then we get into like a new world here. Thanks a lot, and well, see you next week. Probably. Don't forget to click the link here, and cheers. Thanks a lot for joining me on this Sunday here. Bye.